Welcome to Mrs. Green Gymnasium at St. Michael School. I'm PJ, and this is Mitchell. Today we are accompanied by a two-time baseball state champ with 15 strikeouts in the second state championship game this year, an L.V. Phillips Mental Attitude Award winner, committed to Vanderbilt University, was named the best baseball player in Indiana by Prep Baseball Report, finished in the top 10 in his class at Andrean, and is an alumnus at St. Michael's. Welcome to the screen, everyone, Michael Doolin.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
So our first question for you is, what was the hardest adjustment that you experienced between going from St. Mike's to Andrean?
So I think the biggest thing was just time management, and it's going to be the same for probably college too. At St. Mike's, I had a lot of free time after school to kind of do whatever I wanted, but when you get into high school and especially play a sport, you have to categorize your time very well. So I would go to school for 8 hours, come home, do my homework, and then have practice. Or I would go to school, have practice right after school, come home, study, do my homework, and then go to bed or play video games or whatever I had free time to do. But I think the biggest thing was learning how to manage my time more efficiently.
So you were number 23 for Andrean this year, and why did you choose that?
To be honest with you, that was Coach Pishker's number. So no one in the history of Andrean's ever worn 23. So he came up to me my sophomore year and asked if I wanted to wear it, and I was kind of weirded out about it because no one's ever worn it, and I knew that was a huge honor. So it was his number. I couldn't say no to him, so I kind of just took it on and tried to represent his number the best way I could.
And about that number 23, it's the number of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Does it make you feel like the Michael Jordan of baseball?
I get a lot of jokes sometimes because I have the same name as him. But I try to be like him in some ways with his work ethic and his attitude. So I guess in a case I try to be just like him on the baseball field as he was on the basketball court.
Okay.
At Vanderbilt, what are you most looking forward to doing the next 4 years at Vanderbilt?
To keep improving, baseball-wise and as a student. I want to be as successful as possible when it comes to baseball, but also want to get a great education, which Vanderbilt provides. So baseball doesn't end up working out, I always tell people that I want to be a heart surgeon. So Vanderbilt kind of gave me that best opportunity to get better at baseball and get better at school. So I'm looking forward to kind of prosper in both aspects.
Yeah. How did it feel to graduate as part of the top 10 in Andrean's graduating class? How did it feel?
It was really surreal. My sister graduated 7th, and I have a competition in my family. We're a very competitive family. So my brother won 2 state championships. My sister graduated 7th. So I said, as an 8-year-old, I'm going to graduate 6th, then I'm going to win 2 state championships. So I graduated 6th, which was great. I get to kind of quiet my sister a little bit about the intelligent side of the family, but it felt great. It's a good award to have with all the hard work that you put in the school side of it, and it's being top 10 at Andrean is gonna carry with me a lot more than some of the baseball accomplishments will. It's being intelligent in school and working hard means a lot more than being successful on the baseball field.
The L.V. Phillips Award. Now, what things did you have to do to win an award like that?
I think a lot of it had to go into character, what kind of character you have, the leadership that you exemplify on and off the field, obviously the way you are in school. But I think kind of the biggest thing for me that I think that I was a recipient of was my leadership. I pride myself on being a good leader on and off the field. So I think when Coach Pishker nominated me this year, I think a lot of it had to do with my personality on and off the field and the way I kind of led this team this year, which was great because if anyone's going to compliment me, I think I'd much rather it be on my character and who I am as a person rather than who I am as a baseball player. So winning an award that kind of recognized the character aspect side of me, it meant a lot.
Didn't you also hold a big fundraiser for something to do it?
Yeah, so my cousin actually works for the Breast Cancer Foundation, which raises money for pediatric brain cancer. So he came to me and Coach Pishker in about February and asked if we could get like a versus cancer game and raise some money. And we did that. We actually played, it was versus Crown Point this year. And then our team was tasked to raise, I think it was $3,000. And once again, the competitive side came out in me, and I wanted to be the most competitive and win. So me and Pishker kind of went at it together, and I just tried to raise as much money as possible for the kids that deserved it. I mean, it's awful that a lot of kids don't get the same chances that all of us have because of a disease, and so I wanted to do everything I could. So when I found out that I won Gatorade Player of the Year this year, one of the things about that was you get to donate $1,000 to any organization you wanted to. So that was without a doubt where I wanted it to go. So I ended up donating $1,000 because of Gatorade, and then raised about $2,000 on my own.
That's a lot. And about your championship baseball game, how did it feel to be playing on a field where doesn't it just feel incredible to be playing for the state title?
Yeah, so last year I was a little more nervous than this year. Last year I was a junior going for my first state championship. I had never really pitched in that big of a game before with my best friends behind me. So last year I was very, very nervous. Coach Pishker, about 20 minutes before the game, I was sitting down on the bench, kind of looked like I'd been in like a 7th round of a fight. He comes up to me and he goes, "You were born to play in this game." And after that, I kind of was ready to go and excited. And this year, I was nervous for sure. It was my last high school game. It was a state championship game, so it was very, very bittersweet. But it's an unreal experience, and I hope one day you guys get to play in a game like that, because that game and the last year's state championship game is one I'll remember, that I'll tell my kids about. It's an unreal feeling.
The atmosphere of Victory Field must have just been amazing. How did that make you feel, and like the childhood dream of playing at a big stadium like that? How did that make you feel?
You know what? I don't think our student section gets enough credit sometimes, but Niner Nation is the best student section in the region. We're a small school, as you guys know, but we had more people than Edgewood did. Everyone's constantly yelling, screaming, supporting us. So being able to play in a state championship game with your best friends, with a school that's constantly has your back and is supporting you and is constantly up in the stands cheering for you, it's an unreal atmosphere, and it really helps kind of pump you up for that game. So I know I walked out the first inning to get on the mound, and I always kind of take a deep breath and look around, but when I look around and you see all that red and the gold, it's really cool.
So how did it feel to win both a state title, which is already a big accomplishment as it is, and the L.V. Phillips Mental Attitude Award? Did it just feel great?
Yeah, like I said earlier, winning state in baseball is about the hard work you put into baseball. All the hard work, the countless mornings you get up early and go hitting, the countless mornings you get up and you work out, the 4-hour practices that drive us all crazy. But winning that is obviously, it's a dream come true. But the Mental Attitude Award is more an award for my parents, and I give them all the credit because they raised me to who I am. And like I said earlier, that award's more about who you are as a person, which is why it's such a huge honor, because in 30 years you're going to look back at a state championship and you're going to be proud of it, but most importantly you're going to look back and be proud of the person you were in high school and the person that you currently are.
What is your favorite moment that you had at St. Mike's, Andrean, and all, like, just out of everything of those many years? St.
Mike's would probably be my 5th grade soccer championship. It was my first year playing St. Mike's sports. I was pumped. I was playing with my friends, and we played St. Thomas More in the final and beat them 2-1. It was insane. Me and Tom Schutz, as you guys know, we're on the same team. Both scored. So that's something I'll kind of hold on forever. If anyone ever asks me that question, that'll be the first game that comes up. Andrean, there's a lot of great moments. I can't give that school enough credit for everything they do. But the state championships, probably this year being the more memorable one, just because it was my last game, my senior year. We had a lot of doubters this year. So having that in the memory books is definitely crazy, and one that I'll hold on to forever.
And about Andrean and your St. Mike sports, that's exactly how we felt when we played soccer. It was just pumped up, and we ended up winning that game, the championship. And
yeah, it's
how you feel?
It's weird because I still remember my last basketball game here, and it's a similar feeling you'll have when you play in your senior night. You grow up in this school. You grow up playing for St. Mike's across your chest, and it's always about the name on the front of the jersey. So my last 8th grade St. Mike's basketball game, I bawled my eyes out, and it was the same thing at Andrean. It's something about the family that you build at a small school that makes playing for that school so much more meaningful.
Okay.
So now we're going to jump into the St. Michael's questions.
Oh, Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilt questions.
Okay. Let's do Vanderbilt now.
So, why did you choose Vanderbilt out of all the other schools you could have played for?
So Vanderbilt's kind of the perfect mix of a great school and a great baseball program. When I was younger, I was a shortstop, and I kind of envied their shortstop at the time. His name was Dansby Swanson. Plays for the Braves now. I was a huge fan of him, still am. I wore my arm sleeve on my right arm like he did. I taped my left wrist just like he did. I wore a quarter sleeve just like he did. I wanted to be exactly like Dansby Swanson. So that was kind of started the Vanderbilt kick, and then as I started getting older and started going through the recruiting process, I found out that there really isn't a better school for me. There wasn't a better academic fit or baseball fit, and it's a small private school. The baseball team is based off family, which I've grown to know, especially coming here and then to Andrean. So it was that perfect mix of family-oriented baseball, perfect school, perfect baseball program.
Now, what are your expectations for Vanderbilt this year? What are you looking forward to? What are some things that are going to be fun, but they're going to get annoying fast?
Yeah, I'm excited to just keep continuing to better my game. I'm excited for the workouts, even though they're going to be tough sometimes. I'm excited for everything that kind of goes into being a Vanderbilt baseball player. I'm really excited to get ready to compete for another national championship and try to bring another one home to Vanderbilt. But I mean, that's what it's about. You go to Vanderbilt to win national championships. Obviously, you get better while you're there, and it's going to help you in your future. But Coach Corbin does a great job recruiting kids that are very team-oriented, and that's what it's about. I'm walking in there, and my main goal is to win national championships. So I think that's the biggest thing. And then second to that would probably be developing as an individual player.
Yeah. So 2 questions. The first one is, what are you going to do? What are you studying at Vanderbilt? If you don't get into baseball, what do you want to do?
So right now my major is going to be chemistry. So I'm setting myself up either to be a cardiologist, which is a heart surgeon, or a pharmacist like my brother and sister. So I'm going to start off being a chem major and kind of manage that course load and see where it takes me. But my parents always preached to me that baseball will eventually end. And no matter how good you are, no matter how great you are, the best of all time stop playing eventually. So I'm gonna choose a major like chemistry that's gonna challenge me and help me in my future. So it'll be chemistry and hopefully a cardiologist one day.
And then what MLB team would you really want to play for? Like, no matter how good they are, what the pay is, like just anything, just what team?
I'm a huge Cubs fan. My family, huge Cub fans. And I think if I had the chance to play for the Cubs, it would be a no-doubter. And no matter how much money it was for, no matter how bad they were, just growing up a Chicago Cubs fan, you want to play in Wrigley Field. And that's something I'll always want to do and something I hope I can do one day.
Yeah, that's what we don't like the Cubs. We're Sox
Yeah,
fans.
Sox
Well,
fan all the
hopefully
way.
you cheer for them if I'm playing for them.
Yeah.
No? Do you want to get in the lightning round or no?
No, we still have
Too
to
early?
do-
Where?
What other scholars? What other colleges tried to recruit you for playing baseball for them?
So early on, my freshman year, it was Indiana, Purdue, Notre Dame, Duke, Michigan, those schools, kind of the localer schools. And then my sophomore summer, which is when my recruiting process kind of really took off, it was the bigger schools like Vanderbilt, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Stanford. So it was very overwhelming. I'll never forget, we were in the hotel room in Georgia, and I had 17 missed calls, and they were all from coaches. I was at dinner, and we got back, and the first one I saw was the Virginia coach. So we called him, and they offered me on the spot and actually talked to my mom, and my mom is a very emotional person, and she started bawling her eyes out on the phone talking to a college coach. So I'm sitting in the bed next to her, and I'm like, Mom, you need to stop crying. Like, they just offered me a scholarship. You can't, like, embarrass me right now. Like you guys probably would. But it was a lot of great schools, all that I really loved. But when it came down to it, Vanderbilt was my dream school, and I couldn't turn down to play for a coach like Corbin.
And now we are going to move on to our St. Michael's section.
Okay.
So, starting off, what sports did you play at St. Mike's, and which one did you enjoy the most?
So I played basketball and soccer. I think basketball was my favorite just because I grew up watching basketball. My brother played basketball here in high school. So basketball is definitely my favorite. My dad coached me, which I miss. But yeah, I played basketball and soccer, and I miss it. I still do. I talked about it earlier. When you play your last game in a St. Mike's uniform, it's very similar to playing your last game as a senior at Andrean. It's very surreal, bittersweet. You're excited for the next step, but you're also going to miss the memories you made.
What is your best memory of basketball and soccer?
Basketball would have to be, I think it was our 7th grade year against St. Stan's. We went down probably like 15 or 16 in the 3rd quarter. So it was, I mean, and I don't know how long the quarters are. I think they're like 6 minutes now. That's a lot of points to score in 2 quarters.
Was it a championship?
It was a quarterfinal game, so whoever won went to the semifinal game, and we came back and won. I really, to this day, don't know how. We played lockdown defense and kind of just put up some points. That will stick out. It was in their gym, so that was very fun. And soccer would have to be the 5th grade championship when we beat St. Thomas More. That was a very fun moment, especially because it was my first season playing St. Mike's sports, so that was very fun.
So then did you go on to win the championship for that basketball?
No, we lost actually lost to St. Thomas More in the semifinals. I know. So they got a little payback on us from soccer our 5th grade year.
We have a lot of, it's like.
Yeah, St. Thomas More's a rival. I would consider them a rival here.
Okay. So were there any teachers that really inspired you at SMS, like that really taught you the way to live?
Yeah. Mrs. Egert, my kindergarten teacher, that was my first real teacher that I had. She's still a very, very close family friend. Kind of shaped me into the little youngster that I was, the little Spitfire. Mrs. Green, loved every moment in that class. When I look back at St. Mike's, that's immediately my first thought is the turtles in Mrs. Green's room, the monarch butterflies. So that's what I think about when I think about my St. Mike's experience. And then as I got older and moved into middle school, Miss Kennedy, Mrs. C, who was our math teacher, just almost all the teachers, just constantly. I mean, one thing you'll learn, you get to Andrean, it's a very big family environment, and I didn't realize how much St. Mike's was like that until I got to Andrean, but you'll miss it one day because all the teachers here, they care about you, want what's best for you, and I mean, I think that's what makes a small private school so amazing, is that family environment.
But how does it feel to be sitting right here in a gym named after one of your favorite teachers at St. Mike's?
It's crazy. If you had asked me 3 years ago that I'd be doing this, I would say no chance. But coming back here and kind of looking at the changes, the new scoreboards, it's weird because feels like it's a short 4 years ago I was in this gym playing basketball. So it's really crazy to me that I'm back here. I'm in a gym named after my favorite teacher at St. Mike's and talking to you guys that I remember you guys walking around the hall, little youngins. And it was insane. It's insane to like be sitting across from you guys. You've gotten so much older, as so have I, but it's really cool.
When you played knockout, were you one of the big players, or like there's always that one person that everyone's out to get?
Yeah, I would say for the most part I was. I don't know if the boys like admitting this, but we tried to pick on the girls a little bit to get them out early, and then we could start playing with each other. But yeah, I would say a lot of my classmates went after me, but that's fun. That's kind of a target I got used to at a young age, and got used to it at Andrean, because when you play at Andrean, you realize that everyone wants to beat Andrean. I mean, not that people don't like Andrean, they just want to beat you. We're the best in a lot of sports, so you get used to that. So I think playing knockout here kind of shapes that target mentality that I had on my back.
Okay, and then we're just do you have any more St. Mike's questions?
No.
Oh, one more. What was your favorite cafeteria food here?
Oh, it was definitely the Bosco sticks. We had the same ones at Andrean. I brought a lunch every day at Andrean. My mom would make me lunches, but the Bosco sticks here and at Andrean, they were for sure the thing I would buy every day. If I saw Bosco sticks on the menu, you would have seen me running down these halls being the first in line.
And were they the long ones, or were they the 3 smaller ones that you got?
The 2 longer ones.
Oh, we had 3 ones.
Now,
Wait. We have just like 5 quick lightning questions.
Okay.
Do you like, we already got the Chicago Cubs versus, do you like Sam's Club or Costco?
Costco.
How about,
Domino's or Papa John's?
Ooh, Papa John's.
do you like Dunkin' Donuts or
Munster
Donuts?
Oh, Munster Donuts for sure.
Great answer.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a great answer. And what's your dream car?
My dream car. Oh gosh, I would say
You can have any.
I have my dream car right now. My parents actually just bought me a brand new Jeep. So since I was like 10, I always said I wanted a white Jeep. So I would say right now I have my dream car. I haven't really thought about it since I got it.
Okay, and just one more. Do you like Dairy Queen, McDonald's, Wendy's, or Burger King?
Wendy's. The grilled chicken wrap at Wendy's is kind of my go-to when it's late at night and I need something to eat because my parents didn't make me dinner for some odd reason. But yeah, Wendy's.
So now we have one more thing to give you.
Okay.
Do you have it? That's
Now,
the-
I know we kind of veered off of this, but Mitchell made an absolutely amazing lunch special. I bet this wasn't around for you, but you take the chocolate chip French toasts, and you take a piece of sausage and hash brown. You mash it all together, put it in some syrup. It tastes like
and
heaven.
then you'd eat it.
Tastes like
It was
heaven.
Great.
You guys
It's
are
great.
better inventors than I was. I wish I would have thought about that. That does sound pretty good. You know what? Next time my mom makes me breakfast, I think I might do that.
You could actually get to the grocery
So
store.
I'll let you guys know.
Okay. That's about it.
Thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you very much, and
Good luck at
No,
Vanderbilt.
thank you guys.
Thank you.